Hello, I think I'm live. Hello, and welcome to the latest in gaming. My gaming news show coming at you live, hopefully multiple times a week, usually. It's currently Thursday, June 19th, 2025, and today's topics are third party games are struggling to sell on the Switch 2. Xbox may release an emulator on PC for their older games. And PlayStation is thinking about acquiring Warner Bros. Games. If any of that sounds interesting, stick around. And if you're feeling generous, you could help me out and hit that subscribe or like button. I tried to do one of these yesterday. I got a few minutes in, and then my internet crapped out. And then I tried to do it again, and it happened again. So I just gave up. So I had a really fun one planned yesterday where I was just gonna like re-react to like the Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct, because that game looks so exciting. So just so you know, very excited for that game. It looks like a lot of fun, but you will not see my reaction, I suppose. If you have the link to the video, you can watch the first 7 minutes of it or something like that. But anyways, I'll just hop into it, I guess. So third-party games are really. Sorry, I'll say that again. Third-party games are really. Oh my god. Third-party games are really struggling to sell on the Switch 2. So let me just hop over to this. Perfect. Oh yes, I'm a little small now. I'll make myself a little bit bigger. Is that okay? Perfect. Okay, so, oh my goodness, this happens every friggin' time. I gotta fix my. At least I picked up on it. Perfect. There we go. At least I picked up on it. Perfect. Okay. So, yeah, apparently, some games. I don't think Cyberpunk's done pretty well, but other games like the ones shown here, Sonic Shadow Generations, Yakuza, Street Fighter 6, are not performing as well as they'd hoped. In fact, one developer even said they're below our lowest estimates, which is just like, oof, that's not good for them, obviously. Not good for most people. Okay, so I'll start reading this article, and I have some notes I want to go over, but I'll just kind of go over those as they come by. So third-party Switch 2 game sales have started off slow, with one publisher selling below our lowest estimates. Cyberpunk 2077 has enjoyed some success on Switch 2, however. This comes from Jordan Midler at Video Games Chronicle. Third-party games have reportedly struggled to sell on Nintendo Switch 2 at launch, with one publisher claiming that its game has sold below our lowest estimates. I wonder which publisher that is, if it'll say. Because I browsed through this article. I didn't read the whole thing, though. While the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware has enjoyed record-breaking launch sales, some third-party publishers have reportedly found that the console's success hasn't translated to a thriving third-party market yet. In a new report, The Game Business, it's claimed that CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, other than CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077, most third-party games have struggled to sell well on Switch 2. Most third-party games posted very low numbers, the report reads. One third-party publisher characterized the numbers as below our lowest estimates, despite strong hardware sales. According to a report, 62% of launch of Switch 2 physical games sales in the US during the console's launch week came from first-party titles. This excludes the Mario Kart World bundle, which accounted for the vast majority of console sales in the region. According to Circana data, the three best-selling physical games in the US during the Switch 2's launch week were Mario Kart World, obviously, Cyberpunk 2077, and The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Nielsen IQ data shows that in the UK, 86% of Switch 2 physical games sold in the UK during launch week were first-party games. And if the Mario Kart World bundle is included, it's excluded. If it's excluded, the figure is 48%. Cyberpunk 2077 was the best-selling third-party game in the UK during the system's launch week. There are numerous potential reasons for the relatively slow start for third-party Switch games on Switch 2. The high attach rate for Mario Kart World implies that a lot of players are happy enough to play that for now and explore the rest of the lineup once they're done with Mario Kart. That's fair. That's, I think, definitely a big part of the reason, but not the full reason as to why. I think it's a jumble, a mix of many things. Switch 2's backwards compatibility also means players have a number of other games they can play at launch, most notably the 12 first-party Switch games that were given free updates, improving them on Switch 2. The lack of media reviews of third-party Switch 2 games and the resistance by some players to accept the game keycard format could also contribute to low third-party sales. That's true. However, at the same time, not all third-party sales are just physical. A lot of them are digital as well. But then that's also comes into the factor, like a lot of third-party games take up a lot of space. If you buy them digitally, that's going to take up all that space. But if you buy them physically, and it's not just a game key card with like a code, or not code, however it works, I don't know exactly how it works. But if the game's actually on the cartridge, save a lot of space on your Switch. But I don't know how much that factors into everybody's decisions. But anyways, the resistance to some player could also have contributed to low third-party sales. The majority of third-party Switch 2 launch titles were also ports of games that have been released earlier on other consoles, meaning it's likely that players who wanted those games had already found a way to buy them by now. That's a big reason as to why. It remains to be seen then how third-party games will fare on Switch 2 once the launch window is behind it, particularly when it comes to multi-format games that release on Switch 2 on the same day as other systems. I think if it's the right game, it's going to sell well. Like if Sonic Shadow Generations had released on Switch 2 and other consoles a few years from now, it's a good enough version, I think that'll probably be like maybe even the best-selling version in like a few years from now. Just because there's such a big crossover between Sega and Nintendo fans, or Sonic particularly. It remains to be seen. I already read that. In general terms, launch lineups aside, third-party titles have often struggled to find success on Nintendo platforms in recent years. This is due to several factors, including the fact that many core players will own other, often more powerful hardware, as well as a Nintendo console. Yeah. Despite third-party sales issues, Nintendo Switch 2 is off to an extremely strong start in the US. The system has enjoyed the biggest launch ever for a video game console, beating out the PlayStation 4. The success story of the Nintendo Switch 2 is much the same in Japan, where it has enjoyed a huge launch. Famitsu sales data shows that the Switch 2 sold a lot of consoles in its first 4 days in Japan. Whoa, a lot? That's a big number. Last week, Nintendo announced that the Switch 2 has sold 3.5 million units globally. Its first days. Okay, yeah, this is all stuff I've gone over before. So, notes. So they give it a couple of reasons, and I agree with those ones for sure, but I also have a few of my own as to why it's not selling well. Yes, they're old games that have released on other consoles, and they're likely a better looking version. Although with the Switch 2, it kind of remains to be seen on like how much worse. It seems like all the versions that it's shown are pretty good, obviously a little bit worse, but then you also have that portability factor. I wonder how much that's going to factor into a lot of people's decisions when they're buying games, like when it releases day and date. Oh, just a minute, sorry. Okay. When it releases like day and date, like what's a big third-party game that's coming out soon that's also announced for Switch? I guess I can Google it. Switch 2 third-party games releasing soon. Dragon Quest, Elden Ring. But what's one that's like gonna release day and date? Have they said many yet? Oh, like yeah, the James Bond game. Like I wonder how well the James Bond game is gonna compare to its sales on other consoles. I definitely don't think it's gonna do as well. Partially because of the install base. Like PS5's been out now for 5 years coming on, or 6 years coming on. a while anyway, over half a decade. And the Switch 2 will be in its first year. It's not coming out until next year, so it'll have a decent player base by then. But like, I wonder how well it'll do. For something like that, I still think it'll sell. Like, I think it'll do a little bit better on the other consoles. But it's really hard to say, because when the Switch 2 first came out and everybody was buying one and it was a huge seller, then a lot of developers kind of like forced their games to be on there. Some didn't, but some did. Like Bethesda put a lot of games out on the Switch 1, Skyrim, and what else did they do? Doom Eternal. They tried to get that on day release date, but it got delayed quite a bit. And when it came to the Switch 1, like, it was so clearly just like so much worse. But with the Switch 2, it's going to be a lot closer. Obviously not the same, but a lot closer. So I wonder how many people are taking that into consideration. Like, already when it comes to me, I guess one game would be Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. I have that pre-ordered for the PlayStation, even though I could get it on Switch 2 and it comes out day and date. And I'm like kind of debating on if I should like cancel it and switch it over to the Switch 2. But I don't know. It's hard to say, because I do really like playing with the the PlayStation controller. That's a big part of it. And I love that visuals, but then also playing it. Oh, frig, I might be convincing myself right now to get it on Switch 2. Frig. I might just do it, honestly. I might look into that after this stream. But yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like people that at least own both consoles, like, which one are they going to go with more often? With the last generation, it was clearly like PlayStation, Xbox over Nintendo when there was a choice. But that's not where Nintendo gets their money. They get their money from their first party games. So it's just kind of like another avenue for them to make money. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize my thing's cutting off at the bottom there. I don't like that. That's fine. Whatever. Fix that another time. But. Okay, here are my notes. I should actually read them. I don't like a lot. I've seen some complaints about this, that it's the cartridges. That's why people don't want to do it. Is they don't want to buy a game if it's actually not going to be on the cartridge, which I get the outrage there. And a lot of it's warranted, but also there's a little too much of it. Like, it's not that big of a deal compared to how much of a big deal that people make it out to be. Like, I don't think that should really affect sales that much, because a lot of people, I guess a lot of Switch owners do buy physically. But even then, like, I don't know. I don't think that should affect it that much. But one thing about, if people do have other platforms and they see, commercials for this game and they're like, oh, this looks awesome, it's coming out on Switch 2. I have a Switch 2. And it's like this older game. Then they go and look on, PlayStation, and they see Hitman there for $30 or however much it is there. And they're like, oh, well, that's half the price over there. And it looks better. Why wouldn't I just get it over there? Yeah, I'm missing some new content that's only exclusive to Switch 2, but that's just where the money's at these days. And that's what I think the main thing is. It's too expensive. Like, these games are releasing, they're old games releasing for full price. And me personally, I'm not a very rich man by any means. So if this happened a lot too with like other things, like when a game comes out on a new console and it's been out on other consoles for years, to the point where it gets discounted on those consoles, but then they have to release it full price on this new console. There's no way, like, in my mind, I'm like, there's no way that's, I guess it's justified in them pricing it that way, but there's no way that I would personally buy it, because I know that there are other avenues to buy it much cheaper. Even if I don't even have those avenues, like if something on a PC for a long time, they release it to PlayStation, it's $50. On PC, it's down to like 20. I'm like, well, I probably won't get it unless it like offers something really special, or if it's something that I really want. Like I can't, if there's cheaper means in my brain, there's no justification for me personally to buy it. You know what I mean? But that's just me, and I think other people are starting to feel like that as well. On like, it's just too damn expensive. I just bought in Canada. It cost me $700 for the Switch 2 plus tax. I just bought a $700 console. I got Mario Kart on it. If I'm gonna be buying anything else soon, it's not gonna be a full price game like Cyberpunk or Sonic or Street Fighter 6. It's gonna be cheaper indie games, which I have been buying a couple indie games and I'm enjoying them. I picked up Balatro again. I guess I didn't buy it. I owned it for a while, but I haven't played it much. Pretty good game. I don't know if you know this, but Balatro, pretty good game. Um, so yeah, I just don't think it can justify in a lot of people's brains. They just don't, have the money to be like, oh yeah, no, this is fine. I can justify paying $80, $70, $60 for this game that's been out for years already and doesn't run as well, even though it does look fine and it's mobily for the first time. Sometimes cases, like yeah. See, I would honestly love to play Hitman or Cyberpunk or like Elden Ring when it releases on my Switch 2. Like honestly, just for the fact that it's on the Switch 2, like it kind of makes me want to play it even more. But then just like I just don't want to spend all that money. Like it's as simple as that, and it's the state of the world and the economy that it's just like the money's just not there for that stuff for people to pay for it. And maybe they will adjust and lower prices for some stuff like this, but I personally probably can't imagine it. But we'll see. Like I know that I will be making big game purchases, so then I gotta save those for like the big boys, like Donkey Kong, Metroid, the next Zelda, Pokemon, if that's your thing. Not really my thing, but yeah. I think that's all I really had to say on that. 17 minutes, wow. Didn't think I would go into that for so long. So the next thing I want to talk about, excuse me, is PlayStation. Sorry. PlayStation may acquire one of the biggest development studios, Warner Bros. Games. So you ever hear of Hogwarts Legacy or Mortal Kombat or Batman Arkham? That's Warner Bros. Also Suicide Squad and Multiverses and Arkham Knights and that canceled Wonder Woman game. So as you can see from everything I just listed, Warner Bros. Has had some extremely high highs and some extremely, extremely low lows. With, Hogwarts Legacy and like the Batman Arkham games being the highest, I would say, and I guess Mortal Kombat as well. And yeah, no, Suicide Squad being definitely the lowest, and Multiverses was a big fail as well. And this Wonder Woman game they poured a bunch of money into. So I'm gonna read this article here, but honestly, I'm usually not a I usually don't have much justification for like big acquisitions. Like sometimes it can be good, and like I know, like I'm a Marvel fan. Like I got to be honest, I was like a little excited whenever Disney was acquiring Fox, just because of like the X-Men and like like I do see there being benefits, and with like same with like Xbox acquiring Activision. I'm not saying that there's like it's fully bad all around. It is bad like monopoly wise and capitalism wise, and like monopolies are not a good thing, obviously. But I do understand there's some benefits, and honestly, I think if PlayStation acquired Warner Bros. Games, that would be significantly beneficial for pretty much everybody, even the workers, because you do see with a lot of acquisitions that a lot of people get laid off, and I wouldn't be surprised if that happens here. But also, they have laid off a crap ton of people at Warner Bros. Games already from all the different projects between Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad and everything, that under better management, I think there would be a lot less layoffs in the future. So yeah, let's just jump into it here. This comes from J. Brody Shuri at Game Rant. Rumor. So this is a rumor, by the way. It's not, confirmed or anything. PlayStation could be interested in acquiring Warner Bros. Game franchises. PlayStation might be looking to acquire Warner Bros. Video game franchises like Mortal Kombat, DC, and Harry Potter. Sony's gaming division already has an impressive portfolio of franchises under its belt with God of War, Ratchet & Clank, Horizon, and Marvel Spider-Man, among many other of the PlayStation brand. Meanwhile, Warner Bros. Games has been undergoing some serious corporate upheaval this year and last year and the year before, fueled in part by major titles like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, underperforming, and projects like Monolith's Wonder Woman being canceled outright. Earlier this week, Warner Bros. Games announced that it would be dividing its IP into among two different leaders, with NetherRealm Studios' Sean Hemrick being promoted to Senior Vice President of future Mortal Kombat and DC games, and former Bethesda head Yves Lachance, in charge of Warner Bros. Games Montreal and new titles based on Game of Thrones and Harry Potter. This coincides with larger Warner Bros. Discovery announcing its own split into two smaller companies, and it seems that Sony might be looking to capitalize by purchasing one of them. According to sources with SE Scoops, Sony is reportedly looking to acquire WBD Streaming and Studios, which will consist of Warner's films and television libraries, as well as WB Games' major franchises. This isn't verified by any official sources, and it isn't clear if such a purchase would be successful, even if Sony is looking to pick up Warner Bros. Assets. Sony could be adding Mortal Kombat and DC to its game catalog. As mentioned before, WB Games is at a crossroads in the wake of its parent company's restructuring. A sequel to the hit 2023 Harry Potter title, Hogwarts Legacy, is believed to be in development, and rumor has it that NetherRealm has already started to work on its next big fighting game, which may or may not be the long-awaited Injustice 3. Speaking of DC, there are also rumors that Rocksteady is now developing a new Batman game, though it isn't clear if it is another Arkham sequel or a franchise reboot. All these projects could be developed under the PlayStation banner if Sony is indeed looking to purchase Warner Bros. Gaming library, though it is still way too early to tell what effect a buyout would have. Sony's immediate rival, Microsoft, has been adding new publishers and franchises to its Xbox brand over the past few years, and a purchase of proven commodities like Mortal Kombat and the Batman Arkham series could be a strong way for PlayStation to catch up. Yeah. See, that's one thing. It's like, yeah, sure, it's catching up to Xbox and whatever capitalist ideals you have there, but I think the main thing is that Sony and PlayStation are proven to be, amazing at outputting good video games. Yeah, the last couple of years haven't been great, but they got rid of, what's his name? It wasn't Sean Layden. He was the guy before. Former PlayStation head. Not Sean Layden. Not Shuhei Yoshida. Jeez, they've gone through a lot of guys there. What's his name? Before current fella. It wasn't Sean Layden. Okay, after Sean Layden. Jim Ryan, that's it. Yeah, no, Jim Ryan sucked. He was terrible. He was the one heavily pushing all the live service stuff. They're gonna have 15 live service games, and then already canceled a shit ton, and they've lost so much money, and so many people have been laid off, basically fired. Excuse me, but they've got new management now, and hopefully they're going to kind of pivot back towards single player, which is something that Warner Bros. Has put in a lot of good games. See, Warner Bros., they have so many fantastic studios, or they did at least, until they started getting rid of all the talented people there. But at one point, they had a lot of creative and very skilled people working under them. NetherRealm, Rocksteady, WB Montreal, so many just super talented people putting out a lot of amazing games. Arkham Knight, Mortal Kombat, Hogwarts Legacy, Shadow of War, Middle-earth Shadow of War, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. Those games are great as well. Like, so many amazing games, but no matter how good the developers were, the management was just absolutely piss poor, like terrible. They fumbled the bag so hard, so many times, and just refused to learn from any of their mistakes. So, new management for their IP, for the studios working on their games, would just be, I think, a win for everybody. Those big fat cats on the top would probably get a good pretty penny. They wouldn't have to worry about all these games anymore. PlayStation would be publishing very high quality games. I can't imagine they would all become first party. Like, no way Mortal Kombat would become exclusive to PlayStation, because that needs a wide audience to succeed. Same with like Hogwarts Legacy. I could see maybe maybe a future Batman, but even then I feel like that would eventually at least come to PC. But yeah, no, PlayStation's been pretty good anyway with eventually bringing their games over to PC. So there's that. So yeah, no, I think this would honestly be genuinely like better for most people. Some people might lose their jobs, and that would really suck. And honestly, it's likely if PlayStation does acquire WB Games, but I genuinely think that less people would lose their jobs if they acquired them than if the people from WB continued to just run WB Games into the ground. So it's like a win-loss, net zero, I don't know, type of thing. So I guess we'll see. I've got one more thing I want to talk about today, and it's a cool little fun story from Xbox. So, Xbox may be releasing an emulator for their older games on PC. This comes from Mike Straw at Insider Gaming, and this is a rumor, just so you know. Again, another rumor. Xbox bringing original and Xbox 360 games to PC via emulation. It's claimed. Xbox could be ready to bring the past to the present, according to a new rumor from known Xbox leaker. Not even going to try that. Xstasis. I tried it. Xbox is working to bring original Xbox and Xbox 360 games to PC and other platforms via emulation and other platforms. Probably just like phones. Xstasis states via machine translation, a source who works directly at Microsoft said the company is working on what's provisionally known as internally as Xbox Classics. According to the claim, this wouldn't be a simple re-release of the classic games. Sorry, just a sec. Just checking something. Perfect. Okay. What Xbox is working on is a new advanced emulation platform designed to run classic Xbox 360 and original Xbox titles with stability, graphical improvements, full integration with Game Pass, PC, current consoles, portable devices like the Ally, and of course the cloud. He says this move would coincide with Xbox 25th anniversary, which is the company plans to celebrate in a major way with a number of new games and announcements throughout 2026. Xstasis also says that Xbox is working with the Xenia team in order to make this feature happen. Xenia, for those who don't know, is an open source Xbox 360 emulator currently available on PC. Oh my god, I hate when the fucking Insider Gaming does that all the time with their ads. Pisses me off. Where was I here? As with any rumor, please take this information with a grain of salt until it is either made official or can be independently verified by Insider Gaming. The source, while reliable in the past on various stories, has had instances of being incorrect with information. Insider Gaming has reached out to both Xbox and Xenia for comment on the claims. Should any response be received, it will be added to the story. And, when you know it, there was a response from Xenia. So they deny that they have any, that they've been working on this. Xenia, the Xbox 360 emulator developer, denies Xbox Classic's claim. This comes from Mike Straw, I think also, like the last one, from Insider Gaming. It's time to pour a little water on the fire of the Xbox Classic's claim from Xstasis. After Xstasis claims that Microsoft working on a project to bring original Xbox and 360 games to PC, Game Pass, and other players went out, it was met with excitement and skepticism. Within hours, however, the claims have seemingly been shut down by one of the rumored parties. In the official Discord for Xenia, Xstasis said, who Xstasis said was working with Xbox on the project, members of the team immediately denied any of it happening. It's not real, team member Zolo Cluck said. Microsoft has their own Xbox 360 emulator. They'd never even consult Xenia. They even added, if it was real, I'd be under an NDA. Journalist Jess Corden also shot down the claims of it happening right now on social media, saying Xbox is gunning to bring Xbox games to more devices, but this particular scenario isn't a thing at the moment. And in the original report, it was mentioned that the claim needed to be taken with a grain of salt due to recent issues of inaccuracy from the source. While covering rumors, it is part of the job. This is why everything covered is investigated and independently verified by Insider Gaming and other journalists. For what it's worth, Xstasis is standing by his claim. The full context is that Microsoft gets sponsorships, benefits, and staff from GitHub. Every month, they make alliances or hire groups and individuals who contribute solutions and projects to Microsoft. In this case, Xenia joins the program last month, he said via machine translation. If this is the case and they are under NDA, logically they can't do anything but deny it. But don't worry, we'll see you in 2026. Microsoft has yet to respond to multiple requests for comment on the claims. So, this is cool if it's real. Anyways, he seems to be really sticking by it. So, it definitely could be real. I could see maybe it being like partially true. Like maybe Xenia isn't working with, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Xenia. Maybe they're not working with Xbox, but they are working on Xbox is working on their own kind of emulator to get that stuff to run. The main thing to me that just would be exciting, which I could see them doing, and it seems like a very Xbox thing to do, is just bringing, their old classic 360 games and original Xbox games to PC. Like that just makes a lot of sense. And if they find a good, easy way to do it, like with an emulator, that makes even more sense because that just kind of makes the work easier for them instead of, porting individual games, just having an emulator that would help, en masse get most games to work. Seems like the best solution. You know what I mean? So I could see Xbox, like I kind of think Xbox is working on something like this for sure. Anyways, even if this particular rumor doesn't seem to be true, because it just makes too much sense. Xbox is all about, play anywhere, trying to bring their games everywhere, and, they've got a lot of classic good games from 360 and original Xbox that are available on Xbox, but not on PC. And with them putting such a big effort to PC in the last couple of years, it just makes sense, especially if the next Xbox is more of a PC than an Xbox, which it kind of seems like it will be. Just like a PC with Xbox like UI, and you'll be able to use Steam and stuff on it. Like if you haven't seen that, that's been a big rumor as of late. And I'll tell you a rumor at this point, it's real because they announced their handheld that isn't like an Xbox system. It's a PC, but it's an Xbox ROG Ally X. No, ROG X Ally Xbox, something like that. I don't know. It's got a stupid ass name. But basically it's like a handheld PC similar to a Steam Deck, but a little more beefy. And then you can play your Xbox games on their native, and it has like an Xbox sort of UI, but then also it has other storefronts like Steam and Epic and GOG and things like that. So kind of like an all-in-one machine. And at this point, Xbox is making so much money just from their games that they're publishing that I don't think it matters as much to them I mean, obviously they'd prefer you buy their games on their platforms because they make more money from that, but it seems like this is a good way for success for them to get people on their platforms. And, it's working. They're making a shit ton of money, so keep at it. I think a emulator is definitely a likely thing that will happen at some point. Oh my goodness, it's getting late. I think I might end the stream there. That was the last thing I wanted to go over, and I kind of said everything I had to say on it. Goodness, I gotta get up for work in the morning. Holy, okay. For anybody that's decides to watch this later, very much appreciate it. Yeah. Hopefully be back. Definitely won't be streaming tomorrow or the next day, but maybe Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Frig, I don't know. I'm a pretty busy guy, so we'll see. Probably Tuesday, maybe Monday if I'm lucky. But yeah, no, if anybody watching this later, thanks for watching. If you feel like it, you could subscribe, catch me live later. I'm working on a video that I keep procrastinating editing. Instead, I'll just work on streaming. So look forward to that, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks. And other than that, thanks so much for watching. Catch you on the flippity flip.